afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, because I know that many of you are joining us from different locations. My name is Catherine Musakali, and I'm the chair of Women on Boards Network. It indeed gives me great pleasure to welcome you to our third webinar. We hope that you're finding the webinars useful. We hope that you're taking away some useful tips in how you can just improve your life and how you can find yourself and become a better person. This evening, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you're calling in from, we have a wonderful speaker who has spent her life mentoring the youth, dedicating her life to the youth. But allow me to just introduce our moderator for the evening, Miss Judith Sidi Odhiambo. Judy is a member of the board of Women on Boards Network. Her day job, she works for KCB Group, but she's really, really passionate about the youth. She has done a lot in the area of youth development. And so I'm very, very pleased to have her as our moderator for this evening. And so Judy,
thank you, Catherine.
I want to hand over to you so that you can moderate the session for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine, and thank you all for having joined. This evening, our guest is Caren Wakoli. So Caren will be taking us through our session, just looking at mentorship and how to navigate through it, as well as our personal growth. And we had a session with her earlier, which was very insightful. So I'm hoping even as we go ahead, we are going also to benefit from what she's going to share with us in this conversation. So kindly it's to request that we post our questions on our right. So Q&A, please post your questions so that once we look at them, we can be able to discuss them even as Caren moves forward. Caren would like as much as possible that this session is very interactive and that she can also be able to get your feedback, and that also will help her to stress on areas that probably will be of more benefit to you. So Caren is the founder and executive director of Emerging Leaders Foundation, ELF. This organization equips young people with skills, knowledge to enable them to thrive and to be positive agents of change in society. She is a certified leadership coach, transformational leadership trainer, certified 7 Habits of Highly Effective People trainer. She's a mentor, she's a social entrepreneur who delights in mentoring young men and women to be able to discover their purpose and achieve their greatest potential in life. She actually has over 17 years experience of doing youth empowerment work in Kenya and Africa at large. So I think we're in good hands, and this conversation is coming from somebody who has had the experience. She has been in the field, she is hands-on, and she'll be able now to share with us what she has gone through. And one of the things, as I spoke to her earlier, is that she would like to share her personal experience, because through that, her personal experience, we can be able to get learnings on how she has navigated through this whole thing of mentorship, and to appreciate what is mentorship in life, and also how can mentorship enable you to grow, and also to be able also to navigate the issues that come up in life. So I'll hand over now to Caren so that she can start off with us and just to take us through her personal life. Thank you. Welcome, Caren.
Thank you so much, Judith. I am so grateful. Wow, where do I begin? There's so much to say, and I am so excited to be having this conversation with the age group that we are having the conversation with, the young adults, young women and young men. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you. Now, Hannah, are we able to play that song?
Yes, you are able to.
Let me see whether I can find it. Judith, you can say one or two things as I get this particular song.
Yes. So we know one of the things Oprah Winfrey has also talked a lot about her being mentored and also her mentoring others. We even know she has a school for girls in South Africa. And one of the quotes that she has been known to talk about a lot is that a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself, that sometimes you may not be able to see it on your own, but the mentor will be able to look at it and to encourage you along the way. John Maxwell also has written quite a number of books, and also he has emphasized a lot on mentorship, even in the workplace. And one of the things that he mentions is that one of the greatest values of mentorship is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and to help you navigate the course to your destination. So these two quotes are quotes that I find very helpful, especially in mentorship, because it actually tells you the purpose of a mentor, that they are able to see what you yourself cannot see. Sometimes you can be discouraged. Sometimes you may lose hope. Sometimes you may not know what to do or you feel confused, but sitting down with a mentor, they are able to guide you through. One of the things also about mentorship is that mentorship can also be formal and informal. So it doesn't follow a structured way. It can be formal or informal. Again, it's just to be observant and to see which areas work best for us. So here is the video. So let's listen to the video now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. you'll have every victory.
Yes, what do you say about yourself? I chose to start with that song because I realize for many of us at this age in time, we are beginning to depend on ourselves. We are letting go dependence on family, on parents. We're either going on to college, university, or we're in college, or we are starting to work, we're moving out. We're beginning to really have tough conversations about who we are, where we're going, what people say we are, what we say we are, who we say we are. So I'd just like to ask you a question, and I hope you have pen and paper where you are. What do you say about yourself? What do you say about yourself? And what have people said about you? We are in a society right now where we have access to all channels of communication. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, every other channel. And guess what? There's the competition to look like we have it, to look like we got it, to look like yeah, we're trending. And the number of likes we get on our photos and all that sort of determine whether we're happy, whether we feel worthy or not. And this is, again, not generalizing for everybody, but then there are different things that happen at different times, and we get to experience different things differently wherever we are. So what has been said about you? Are there things that have been said about you by your friends, by anonymous individuals online, on the internet, or even other workplaces or in the university, about you maybe not being able to fit in, you're unable to fit in, or about how you look and about many other things? How did you respond to that? How did you respond to that? The song says, you know, when you say, I am strong when I feel I'm weak. So there are moments we feel weak. There are moments we feel worthless. There are moments we feel we don't have it. There are moments we feel we've messed up and we can't, you know, come back. There are moments we are fearful, we're afraid, we want to take a step forward, but then we're like, no, I failed the other time, or no, I don't have what it takes, or no, I am a nobody, I can't do this. What are you saying to yourself? Today's conversation is mentorship and why effective mentorship is really, really important and contributes largely and in a big way to personal growth. And so that is critical. However, it all begins with the self. It begins with that inner voice, the still voice within us. Because moments come when there are so many noises telling us different things. You want to pursue this particular course, some noises are telling you, no, don't do that. You want to get this job, or you're in this job, or there are some demands on you to be able to get a job or an internship somewhere, and noises are coming. What do? Do you have moments when you when you feel like, you know, it's too costly to stay true to who I am and be true to myself and my value system, or that, you know what, let me pay the price and get what I want out of life. I will get to share with you just a few, maybe one aspect of my own personal journey and where mentorship has come in big time for me. I have been mentored, I think, throughout my life, primary school, high school, university, post-university. But I think mentorship for me made so much more sense after college. In college, but also, and that sort of gave me the grounding for life after college. And that's why then life after college for me, I needed to have mentors, because then being in college, selecting the courses I selected and going through certain things, it then dawned on me, you know what, this life, you can do it on your own. And like somebody said, experience is the best teacher, but we can never live long enough to make all the mistakes by ourselves and learn from them. We must learn and have the ability to learn from other people. And those people are mentors. A mentor is basically someone who, in most cases, they are slightly older, but they don't have to be older. You could actually have a mentor who's younger. But as long as somebody is more experienced in a certain area, in life, in a career, in running a business, in doing something that you want to be able to do in your life. Now, you could reach out to somebody and ask them to mentor you. Let's say you have watched them and you admire the way they do their lives, or you want to be able to walk the journey, your journey, your life, the way they have been able to do theirs. But then in certain situations, you actually don't get to choose. The moment you are aware and you are in a space, whether at home, at school, in a mall, in a field somewhere, you can be able to learn and be mentored. So there's the formal kind of mentorship, and then there's the informal. In the introduction, you were told that I serve at Emerging Leaders Foundation, and we do youth leadership development and mentorship. We do pair up mentors and mentees in different sectors, in the social sector, in corporate, in government, in running businesses, in life generally, for young people to get supported and to get guided, because we believe that young people are actually the cornerstone of our society. You are the answer to our society. You are everything a society needs. But most importantly, you are really important to yourself, and the journey you walk, the choices you choose to make end up defining your destiny. And that is important. So let me go back to a bit of my story. So I joined University of Nairobi many years ago. I don't know where you are. And life was interesting. I had many things I wanted to do, and I was afraid to do some of them. Then I remember this. So like one of those things I was afraid of doing was getting into student leadership. I was passionate about leadership. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to get into the university and not just be a student, pass exams, but I wanted to do something slightly more. I wanted to leave a dent at the university. But I had some things that were working against me, like my ability to communicate coherently in English was a challenge. I had a low self-esteem of myself, and I had a few challenges here and there. And those things actually like kept me in fear and kept me sort of bound in this space where I was feeling, you know, you can't communicate well. No, you're not good enough. No, you can't do this. Oh no, you know, till one time, this particular custodian, an elderly woman, called me and told me, you know, Caren, I have observed you and you can make a good leader for this hostel. And yes, I know this challenge about communication, I have heard about it, but I know that there's a secret. When you read books, you get to improve your ability to communicate. And she said, just give it a try. God will help you. And yes, I believed God would help me, but still, when you have a fear and you know this fear is there, sometimes it's difficult to just pull yourself from that fear. But this lady's advice actually got me thinking. And at some point I said, you know what? Let me give it a try. Surprise, surprise. I made it. Then I discovered the difficult thing is really not even running for office. It is what you're able to do for the student body after you get elected. Now that's when the hard work began. Then I completed my term, then vied to be gender secretary, then again completed the term, then vied to be vice chair, completed the term. And even in the course of vying, there were difficulties. But there were people, either lecturers or friends and even family, that would talk to me and guide me and tell me, Caren, do this, Caren, go here, talk to so-and-so, Caren, read this book, Caren, watch this film. Those things made a huge difference for me. And guess what? I started working before clearing university. I started earning money. Now, part of the motivation to start earning money while still a student, in fact, in first year, was because I was supporting myself through school and I needed to buy food. I needed to take care of myself, take care of my sibling who I was living with. But I also just needed money in my pocket. So I said, you know what, I better get some odd jobs here and there, sales jobs, and get to make some money to just empower myself. But out of engagement within the student body, I got the chance to represent young people in different spaces, in meetings by government, by the UN, and even university and civil society organizations. And once in a while, I would take part in media interviews and media debates concerning students and the welfare of students. This was interesting because then I didn't foresee that part of this engagement was setting me up for something in my future. I just knew this is my passion. I'm doing student leadership stuff and I'm working here, doing some internship here and there. But little did I know that those little experiences were actually adding up to something bigger. And so I think therein lies lesson one. Nothing you ever go through in life will ever go to waste. Even if you get into a course and you discover, no, I do not want to study this course. I want to change. I want to make a shift. Whatever you had studied before you made the shift will never go to waste. No experience, bad or good experience, will ever go to waste. It always comes working for you. So those things came working for me. A month before clearing university education, I received a call from the permanent secretary in charge of the Ministry of Youth. By then, there was a ministry in charge of young people. He asked me to submit my CV. We had engaged with the ministry as student leaders a couple of times. So I submitted my CV. Then one time I received a call within the month. And the person told me that I had just been, my name had been gazetted to serve on the board of NACADA. NACADA stands for National Agency for Campaign Against Drug Abuse. And my role was to speak for and represent young people. I looked at myself and I said, how do I do this? I'm just a young person. And the people who I was serving with on the board as board members were the people I used to watch on TV. Professors, doctors, whoever, so-and-so, the who is who. But I remember one lady, she was called Dr. Manguyu. Dr. Manguyu was, she is a pediatrician. She told me, Caren, there is nobody qualified enough on this board to speak about youth issues other than you. So find your voice and represent the people you've come to represent on this board. Don't look at your age or your qualifications or no. You have come to represent young people. Find your voice and represent them. That was serious mentorship, you know? And at some point, she needed to drum in some things about my ability to communicate and how to present myself in a meeting or present a report of a committee to the board. And she was busy. I was a little busy, but not very busy. And I remember this particular time she told me, Caren, I am so busy and I don't think the whole month we're gonna have time. So I would like for you to get into my car. I am going to some place in Caren. We will do the mentorship as we go. Then when we get there, you will alight, get into a matatu, go back to town while, you know, I go and do my business. So the question for you is, how badly do you want what you want? I suppose you have a dream. I suppose you have aspirations. How badly do you want what you want? Do you want it so badly that you can actually get into a vehicle with someone, your mentor, and go to some destination far away from, from the city and get guided and molded, and she gets to speak to you and guide you and speak into your life and encourage you, and then you get into a matatu, you know, and come back to the city? How badly do you want what you want?
Okay.
If
Thank
want
you,
it so badly,
Caren. Thank you, Caren. I love that passion, just asking us, how badly do you want it? So somebody here is asking, how did you better your communication skills? How did you better your communication skills? I think earlier you had just told us that you had to work on your communication. So I think maybe you can provide some tips there. Thanks.
okay. Thank you so much, Judy, for the question. And I really like that question. How did I better my communication skills? And do you know, even to this day, I am still working on my communication skills. I'm not where I want to get to. Now, remember I told you that the custodian told me that I needed to read more. And the more I read, the more then I would improve my ability to communicate. So I read widely. And if you also came to my room on campus, I used to have a small radio, and it was always on BBC. And I used to love this particular show on Sundays in the morning at about 8 to 9. It's called the World Drama Series on BBC. So you'd get hosts speaking, presenting certain things during the show. And I would listen to the pronunciation, intonation, and try repeat that. And even as I read my books, I read silently, but then I also read loudly. I read out aloud, and in a big way that helped me to improve. But what made the most difference was that I needed to address students a lot of times, so I needed to speak and make presentations here and there. The more I spoke, the more I practiced, the better I became. So like what they say, practice makes perfect. I think it is so true and so relevant and so alive, because then the more I spoke, the better I became. And then I actually looked for opportunities to be able to speak a little more. And even when I didn't get chances to present anything or speak anywhere, I had moments when I would give myself imaginary topics, and then I sit before a mirror and I assume I am giving a speech, and I just speak, and then I record myself, and then I listen, then I say, you know, you need to improve here and there. And sometime last year, I also decided to enroll in a club called Toastmasters Club, which is a club where people learn public speaking. So you can see, learning never ends. Learning is a lifelong thing. I'm still learning. We have meetings twice in a month, and I get to practice, and I get to be able to do that. And I'm even while in this particular forum, in this meeting room, I am also still learning and perfecting. And after this, I will assess myself to say, so Caren, this is what you did. This is how you did it. How can I do better, you know, next time? So learning is a lifelong thing. So Judith, maybe I can just go to the 5 key takeaways, key lessons I have learned from my mentorship and from being able to mentor other young leaders. Yes. And then we can get to further Q&A. So the first one is on self-awareness. And I would still like to take us back to the song, the initial song that we started with. I have discovered that knowing oneself, knowing who you are, is the cornerstone of everything else. You can never have any impact, like any lasting impact in this life, unless you know who you are. So who are you? And I wish to confirm to you that you are not your gender, you are not your story, you are not your experiences, you are not your mess, you are not what you do, like the work you do. No, you are someone special. And within you, there's a deposit, there's a special deposit. There's a book I would like to recommend to all of us. It's called, it's by Jim Collins. It's called Good to Great. In this book, Jim Collins talks about a concept called the hedgehog concept, and it has 3 circles. The first circle is passion, and the second circle is, are you so good at your passion? And the third circle is economic engine. So back to circle number 1. What are you passionate about? Are there things you observe and see and watch or experience in this life, in the world, that make you cringe, that vex your soul? Or on the flip side, are there things you see or do or engage in that give you so much joy? Your passion and your purpose for life lies somewhere there. Reflect, journal, and then get to hear what your heart tells you, because then our hearts never lie. So listen to what your heart, that inner voice, tells you. So circle number 1 is, what are you passionate about? Circle number 2 is, are you so good in the world at it? Find that one thing, that one skill or passion that you have, and hone it. Hone that skill. Become the best in the world at it. I discovered I love to work with young people and do leadership development, and I wasn't the best at it. I enrolled for so many courses. I went for so many fellowships. Oh my goodness, I have learned, and I'm continuing to read and just build my ability and my capabilities. Finally, the economic engine. How do you turn this one thing that you so love to do, that you're so good in the world at, to become your economic engine, to the extent that you get paid to do what you love to do? And in this age and time when, is it 5 or 6 in 10 young Kenyans you meet are unemployed, and now with COVID, we've lost over 2.3 million jobs. What is gonna make the difference is people getting to discover what they are passionate about and pursuing that and being the best at it. And it doesn't matter whether the market is flooded in whatever it is you want to do, whether it is DJing or running a business or being a communications consultant, being a social media influencer, it does not matter. Hone that skill and become the best at it. And that can only happen when you get to be self-aware, when you get to discover yourself and form your value system. Because again, you come out here in this world, some value systems are so warped. You will encounter things and see things, but if you have your value systems intact, like integrity, character, discipline, get to set your values for yourself. That's really key. So number 1, self-awareness. Number 2.
So as you go to number 2,
yes,
there's somebody who here is asking, when you talked about how badly you want something, and sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we never expect to be in studies that we want, and you're forced to join some options, not because you want it, but because it's the only choice. So what the person is asking is, what are some of the tricks, or what are some of the strategies you can use to cope up with such changes and still get to what you want and still love what you do?
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And I know, I have experienced what that participant is asking. When I joined the university, I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to study law. But I missed that opportunity by 1 mark. So for a whole week, every single day, I'd wake up in the morning and go to Parkland's campus, sit outside the Dean of Students' office and just wait to say, you know what, please give me this chance to study law. This is the one thing I want to do in this life, is become a lawyer. Day 1, day 2, day 3, Monday till Friday, nothing. Monday, I was outside the Dean's office. He called me in. We had a conversation and he told me, you see, we can't bend the rules. You have not qualified, you haven't hit the mark to study law. Now, unless you come on board as a Module 2 student. I didn't have the money to go in as a Module 2 student. And I asked myself the question, so what other passion do I have? And the other passion was journalism. So I then went back to main campus and enrolled and studied mass communications and all that. And then I practiced journalism for like 3 years. And then I discovered, no, so I enjoy what I do in journalism, you know, news reporting, producing documentaries, being a radio presenter. But then I did not have the satisfaction and the fulfillment. And so I decided, you know what, this satisfaction and fulfillment only comes in when I'm working with young people and I'm having sessions with young people. So let me quit and then do what I love to do. So I think one tip would be, I find it difficult to accept that we can continue to do courses we do not like. So please, if you're able to have a conversation with your parent, let them know you're not passionate about what you're studying, and find something else that you're passionate about. If you're able to do that, please do that. That will save you a lot of heartache. Because I realize that when you're passionate about something, even when it gets difficult, you find your way around it. But when you're not passionate about it and exams come and things are thick, you know, you're like, I didn't even want to do this course in the first place. So please talk to your parents or your guardians. But number 2, be courageous enough to actually take a shift. I have a younger sister who was pursuing BCom. She was going to 4th year. Then last week, as late as last week, I was in a conversation somewhere where she was present, and I just overheard her say that she discovered after like the 3-4 years of doing BCom, she didn't want BCom, and she had made the shift without letting me know to international relations, and she was now in 1st year international relations. I was actually very happy for her. But then the question is, can you have that courage to actually take that step and move into something you love to do? If you can't, if you're not able to, or you feel you've gone too far to be able to quit to do what you love to do, then change your mindset. Find something you can love and appreciate about the course you are taking or about the job you have. Find something you can appreciate about it. And for that moment, because then when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at definitely change. So then if you're not able to actually make a shift, then change your mindset. Change your mindset, choose to thrive, choose to shine in that something. And then maybe in future, when you have chance, when you have an opportunity, you can then confidently make a shift and say, this is what I'm passionate about. And so let me pursue this thing. Judy, shall I go on or?
Okay, there's somebody who has talked about in terms of self-awareness. What is Karen's identity grounded on, and how does she find a good foundation for that identity?
Wow, these guys are these are interesting questions.
Although somebody also gave something good and said they were to go for engineering, but they ended up doing counseling psychologists, and they love that and they're passionate about it and practicing it. So just tying up to what you have said, it's good when you take up something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree. Wow, that's a tough question, but I think the biggest, the most foundational thing for me has been God. Just being able to find myself in God and find my purpose in this life and be able to pursue it despite the odds has been the most liberating thing. It has shaped my values. There are things I can negotiate on and be able to do. There are things that are non-negotiable for me. And that I was only able to get there when I then decided to get my spiritual compass right. All of us as human beings have that spiritual compass. That's something that gives us direction. What is that for you? Find it and have your values rooted around that, because that is really critical. Once you have your values and your foundation set, then you will actually know what to settle for, what not to settle for, where to go, where not to go, who to engage with, who not to engage with. And that helps to sort out a lot of headaches that we sometimes encounter in life. Item number, in fact, let me limit them to 3 and not 5. So item number 2 is failure. I would like to share that it is actually important to allow ourselves and to aspire to fail. I know that sounds radical, but that was my goal last year, that I aspired to fail as many times as I could. And this is the reason why. When you allow yourself permission to fail, you then allow yourself permission to go beyond your fear and your comfort zone, to take risks that you wouldn't otherwise take, and then be able to do life or to do something you want to do in your life. And let me tell you something, failure will come. it's so funny that for me, when I was in campus, I never ever experienced failure, like never. Like really, never. Whatever I wanted to do, I did. Whatever I wanted to become, I became. Whatever I wanted to pursue, I pushed. And though even sometimes that used to be with tears in my eyes, I did it. But I cleared campus and then attempted to run for office, and oh my goodness, oh, I failed terribly. And then shortly after that, I started Emerging Leaders Foundation, and for 5 years, you're writing proposals and sending to investors and donors, and for 5 years, no funding is coming through. You're getting so many no's, and that is one thing I would like for you to know, because then I realize right now, many of us are getting into business. Business is not easy, just like any other thing we get to do in life. You will knock on doors, and even as you apply for jobs and for internships, you will knock on doors on companies and you will receive so many no's. I need you to know that it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. No, it just means that they have no opportunity for you at that time, or that is not where you need to be at that time. But it doesn't mean that you're not, that the no is to you, no. Or that you have done applications to so many universities or scholarships and the answer is no. No, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means that, you know, that chance is not for you. Keep trying, and, you know, something else will come out of it. And tying up to that, I would like to tell you, do not ever give up. Moments will come when you can entertain the thought. Like for me, for the 5 years we existed without funding, and I was working 3-4 jobs at a time through consultancies to make ends meet, to then meet the needs of the business. Oh man, it was crazy. And there are moments I wanted to give up. And I remember my friends coming through for me and telling me, Caren, you can't afford to give up. A few would actually tell me, you know, Caren, put this baby called ELF aside, forget about it, let's go make money and then come back and run it. And a few would tell me, you know, Caren, you've come so far and this is something you're passionate about. It's not bringing in revenue. You're not earning anything. In fact, it is using your money, but just keep the faith. So I would like to encourage you that when difficult times come, and they will come, please do not give up and do not look down on yourself. You're worth much more than the failure or the experiences you go through in life. Finally, self-love. I am in a season where I am loving myself in every way possible. And looking back, I wish I had discovered that it was important for me to love myself, lavish myself in every way possible when I was younger, and not now. I just discovered this maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But you see what they say, it's never late to discover something new, to learn something new. So it's not late for me. So I am loving myself. I get to work out. I get to take water. In fact, I have my water bottle here. You can see it's really big. It's just a way of taking care of me. Once in a while, I go for massage. I go for walks. I work out. I read the Bible. I read books. I have a couple of books here. I have my quiet time. I get to journal and write down my thoughts. I spend time with friends who build me, friends who we get to support each other. So self-care is really critical because we only have one body and our bodies have no spare parts. Kabisa, si kama gari or baiskeli that, you know, you can fix the tire or you can fix this and that. No. We are all we have. So let's learn to take care of ourselves mentally, psychologically, spiritually, and keep ourselves growing. Because as society changes, as things change, you can only stay above your game when you're learning. Like Alvin Toffler said, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be people who can't read or write, but people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, meaning that learning is a lifelong process. So let's keep learning. Judy, over to you for any questions.
Yes, thank you, Caren. So just a question which I wanted also to pose to you. What would you say have been your challenges and opportunity, especially in mentoring this young group? Were you deliberate about it? And how, what are some of the, of course, challenges, and then what are those opportunities? What have you taken advantage of just to make sure that mentorship serves the purpose for which it is intended? Thank you so much. That's a really, really good question.
one of the challenges that I realize cuts across gender, it affects both young men and young women, is belief in self. I think a few of the young people we have attempted a few things here and there, and either that did not work out, or they got frustrated, or they didn't have money to start the business, or they made bad decisions and stuff like that. And that, like, in a big way breaks people. I think that has been one of the biggest challenges I have observed. And the other one comes in through parenting. And I think in the home, increasingly we get to encounter young people who either missed out on the love of a dad, love of a mom, and that has really affected what they're able to do or not able to do. And that's really sad. And I hope women on boards, you listen to this and try and make sure that for your members, you talk to them about the importance of being present in their children's lives. It's really critical, because some of the challenges even we face in society, like corruption and such things, they start at home. They start in the home. They start with what children, boys and girls, observe and watch their parents do or not do, say, or even treat each other and treat them. So some people have been treated badly. Some people have had experiences that have broken them, and they are unable to make a shift from this rut, from this kind of a cocoon, to then move to a better place. That has been the biggest challenge I think I've observed. However, therein lies an opportunity, because I have discovered that when young people are able to open up and be vulnerable enough and say, I need help, or say, I have been abused and I don't know what to do, or I have failed in my business, or I am in debt, or this and this has happened. When they're able to be open, it then sort of facilitates a healthy kind of mentorship, because then the mentor is able to know that this is what my mentee is going through. And then together you're able to set goals or find ways out of whatever it is that is happening. And the answers always lies within us. So then the role of the mentor is to help us draw those answers from within us, and then be able to chart the way forward. So the ability to have open, authentic, and genuine conversations is really key, and it's a great opportunity in terms of addressing challenges that young people face in society. Yep.
Okay, so thank you for that. And somebody has asked, does ELF offer free mentorship programs?
Wow, that's a good question. So yes, Emerging Leaders Foundation offers mentorship sessions. However, you have to pay a small fee for a period of a year, because then our mentorship programs go on for a period of a year or even beyond a year. And we pay 20,000 Kenya shillings to take care of certain things, because then they come in for sessions. We have 6 modules that we offer. There's self-awareness, there's leadership skills, public speaking, communication skills, community service, good governance and ethics, and then finally body, soul, mind, and spirit. And then at the end of it all, they get to graduate, but the mentorship with their mentor goes on for the whole year. So yeah, we have that mentorship going on. And you actually, like I said earlier, you can enroll in a program that is formal, which offers formal mentorship, but then mentorship doesn't need to be formal. It can be informal, where you don't really need to pay anything. You can talk to somebody and request them for them to become your mentor and just guide you in a given sector or given area that you wish to grow in.
Okay, Caren. So there's somebody who has raised up their hand, Tuishime Marie. Are you able to speak and tell us what you have in mind? Tuishime, can you be able to ask Anna?
Tuishime, kindly unmute your microphone and speak. Kindly go ahead.
Maybe you can take Tamara as Tuishime sorts out the mic issue.
Okay. So I know, Caren, even as we talk about mentorship, so far what we have been discussing is that mentorship is much more, maybe someone, sorry?
Catherine was telling you that Tamara's hand is up.
Oh, there's Tamara. Okay, Tamara Lugonzo. Tamara, let's hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Good, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so firstly, thank you for everything that Caren has spoken about. I wanted to ask, in terms of failure and having also your identity grounded on the foundation of God as your foundation, right? So there are some times when you keep failing at something, right? And then for some people, like I know I do this sometimes I start to think maybe this is a sign from God telling me to look in another direction. So do you have any advice on like when do you like differentiate between doing the same thing and really expecting a different result every single time and listening to maybe that voice in your head that's telling you that maybe it is God trying to push you in a different direction and telling you that this might not be the direction that you should be going, or this is not exactly how I want you to carry out this venture or something like that? Yes, that's my question.
Wow, Tamara, thank you for your question. A tough question. Wow. So essentially, when do you keep doing this one thing that you keep doing and either you keep failing at it? So when do you know that you should keep going or you should actually, look a different direction and do something different? Wow. I got to this point in the course of running Emerging Leaders Foundation where I was wondering, is this a sign that maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this? Should I let it go and either go back to employment or find something else to do? And I discovered there's a difference in terms of if looking at whatever it is you're trying to do and you keep failing at it, ask yourself the question, if you were to do that same thing differently, would it give you results or not? If it would give you results, maybe in terms, there's a book called Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. I would recommend it to all of us. It basically talks about a shift, that there's just one thing you need to do and it changes so many things. So in that thing that you keep doing and failing or things are not working out, ask yourself the question, is there something I haven't done, or what is the one thing I can do? Or is there a possibility that there's one thing I can do that will totally shift everything? If there is, maybe it's in terms of changing technology. Maybe it is in terms of just changing mindset. Maybe it is in terms of putting in a little more time. Maybe it is in terms of getting a few more professionals on board or getting expert advice. If there is room for that, then do that. And I have discovered that when you go on and on, you actually become a pro at that. I fundraised for slightly more than 5 years and got nothing, got no investors on board, no funders on board. But you know what, by the end of the 5 years, I think I had become a pro. I knew what I needed to talk about the numbers, talk about the impact, talk about the value proposition for the organization. Because then again, so the differentiating factor here is going to be what lessons are you able to learn from this journey, from doing and failing, doing something different or differently and then failing. What lessons can you pick? Because then there are so many lessons you can pick in the course of this. But the one question you need to ask is there one thing I can do that will shift everything? I think that is critical. Thank you, Tamara.
Okay, thank you, Caren. So Tuishime now is online. So Tuishime, over to you. You can ask.
Tuishime, we can hear you. Can you speak?
Is she speaking? Oh, she raised her hand by mistake. Okay, fine. So she said she raised her hand by mistake. That's fine. So I'd also like to ask you, Caren, there's been a lot of talk about mentorship. And normally we've heard about reverse mentorship. So have you had an experience about reverse mentorship? And out of this experience, how has it helped you?
Wow, yes, there's something called reverse mentorship where somebody, let's say younger than you in age or experience, is able to offer mentorship. And this happens a lot even in our homes, where moms and dad and parents get to learn from their own children. That definitely is reverse mentorship.
Yeah.
I have people that I work with in my team who are way younger than me. And guess what? Sometimes we sit down and we're having brainstorming sessions. I get to learn from them. Or one of them can come to me and tell me, you know, Caren, I have observed this and I think we can try to do this in a different way. And it actually works. So just being able to be open-minded that mentorship and lessons could come from either more experienced and older people, but also from younger and less experienced individuals, or we get to learn just by being open-minded.
Okay, thank you, Caren. So I know we have 2 minutes to time. So can you be able to give us a summary of what you've taken us through? And then from there on, I'll take the program and just ask also Catherine to summarize for us before we close.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have talked about the essence of mentorship, the importance of mentorship. We can never live long enough to make all the mistakes by ourselves and learn from them. So learn from the people around us. Be self-aware, know who you are. Let it be a constant journey, and it never ends. Even when people get to be 80 and 90, I have had conversations with some of them. They never stop learning. They never stop discovering things about themselves. So make it a point to know who you are. Have a foundation. Define what defines you, like what is your value system. Number 2, embrace failure and disappointments. It doesn't mean that you're settling for less. No. It just means that there's a possibility this might not work out, this relationship might not work out, and just being ready in your mind that, you know what, you will just have to keep going, keep doing it till it gets to work out. And finally, self-love. Love who you are. And I think the most radically beautiful thing in this life is our ability to love ourselves. Sometimes it is so heartbreaking to hear people say that, oh, I'm waiting for Mr. Right to love me, then I'll be happy. Or I'm waiting for Mrs. Right to love me, then I'll be happy. No, there's nothing like that. Is a fallacy. Love yourself. Someone else might come and love you, and they don't even love you in the manner in which you want loved. And how will you be able to define how you want to be loved if you have no idea how to love yourself? So know who you are, love yourself, and pursue your dreams and goals. Let go fear. Let go fear. Let go fear. Be the best you can be. Be phenomenal. Be legendary. Thank you.
Thank you, Caren. Thank you, Caren. That was so insightful. We've been so encouraged. That was good. Thank you for your time. Catherine, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Judy. Caren, that was wonderful. I have written and written and written. Key takeaways for me, self-love. Very, very important. Unless you love yourself, nobody is going to love you. You know, so it starts with yourself before it goes to other people. And I think one of the other things, Judy, I can see a hand from Lauren. Maybe we should just take.
We should take Lauren
Yes,
Wanga.
please.
Okay,
Yes,
Lauren, you can ask.
Hi.
Hi. We can hear you. Speak up.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful session. I did have a question, though I'm seeing our speaker has finished. Maybe if she could just give us deadlines.
She's still on call, so it's okay.
It's okay. Go on. We're here for you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So I wanted to ask, like for young people, you find sometimes we get ourselves in situations where we get mentors. Maybe you're attending seminars. So what advice would you have on, say, interacting with people in seminars? You know, some of us have a problem associating or how is it called, professionally connecting or seeking mentorship? Is there a way
Networking.
you can encourage people to actually learn to speak to mentors who are a bit elderly than us? You know, that art of actually networking. That's the word I was looking for. The art of networking. I'm not sure it's a problem for young people. So many opportunities are presented to us, but we cannot connect very well with the opportunities we are having right now. So maybe if you could give a few insights, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Over to
you.
you, Caren.
Thank you so much, Lorraine Mwanga. Thank you so much. That's an amazing question. And Judith, it's very interesting that some of the questions being asked today, I have experienced and gone through them. So like this question Lorraine just asked about networking and reaching out to people who are older than us, like in conferences and meetings and seminars. I struggled a bit with that. I used to hear that your network is your net worth. And that there's power in social capital. Social capital is about the people, you know, like Judith, you're my social capital, Catherine, and we are each other's social capital. We can be able to tap into our spaces and support each other. I used to hear that, and I used to want to make that happen in my life, but I am introverted. And so I imagined that the people who are able to go out there and start up conversations with strangers and reach out to possible mentors are people who are extroverts, people who are energetic and all over the place and loud. And then I discovered, no, like how it begins with knowing yourself and understanding yourself, your personality type. You see somebody who you admire or somebody who you feel they have walked a journey you want to walk and you need guidance from them. Just let go the fear. Let go the fear and reach out. Like now, that other question I asked at the beginning, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? Do you know, if you want it so badly, haijalishi if that person you want to talk to is in a group of 5 people and all of them are listening to him or her, you will actually find yourself foxing yourself there and saying, oh, excuse me, sir, excuse me, mom, I'd like to, you know, let go fear and just want it so badly that you actually let go your fear to reach forth. And you learn to do it by actually doing it. So you can start with small groups, or you stand there till the person is done with all the 5 people. That might just take more time. But if you really, really want to talk to them, then wait till your turn comes and then go talk to them. Follow them, run after them. Some people might look at you and say, anajipoksia, anajipeleka mbele, nini, but it doesn't matter. You know what you want, go for it. So let go fear and just give it a try. Give it a try, because then it is true that your network is your network. It is true. It is so true. And let me just give a practical example. There's a time I was so broke. I didn't have money and I didn't have any consultancy. And I remember having a conversation with Catherine Msakali and telling her, you know, I can train in transformative leadership, but I have no business now and no one has reached out to me to train. And she said, oh, there's a training in Naivasha. And then we went, I put together the PowerPoint presentation, nini, prepared everything. And then she told me, yeah, no, Caren, this is your chance to train. And I trained. And guess what? She paid me 3 times more than what I was used to being paid. And that enabled me to realize, oh, so I've actually been charging low. I need to take this up. That would never have happened had I not been able to reach out to Catherine, actually in a meeting, in a conference, to say, I would like for you to mentor me. I would not be a member of Women on Boards had I actually also not reached out to then discover that, oh, she also runs Women on Boards. And I would love to be a better leader, a better woman leader to support other women. You know, so please reach out. Please reach out. Please reach out.
So Caren, I would like some of that money back, please. Thank you very, very much, Caren. I think that has been a very, very useful session. I have learned so much myself. Loving oneself. I think that is what stands out for me. And I think the other thing that Caren talked about, she talked about one of the skills of emotional intelligence. Throughout her conversation, she was actually talking about emotional intelligence. And as young people, emotional intelligence is so, so important. And there are 4 critical skills of emotional intelligence. Of course, the first of which is self-awareness. And then going on to knowing yourself, you're able to manage yourself, and you're able to manage relationships with other people. If these siblings are really driving you up the wall, how do you manage your relationship with them? So thank you so much, Caren. And I think we're going to keep calling you back so that you can continue the conversation with our young people, because a country is as strong as its young people. Unless our young people are strong, the older folks are going nowhere. So this country really depends on its young people, and we want to, as women on boards, to bring up young people who are strong, young people who know themselves, young people who are able to contribute, not just to the economic circumstances of this country, but also to the social well-being of the populations. I can see Jeff has raised his hand. Now, I want to allow Jeff to ask a question. And I will tell Jeff why I'm allowing him to ask a question, because he's my friend's son. Jeff,
yes,
would you like
Jeff,
to
go
ask?
ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening, we can hear you.
I feel I'm the only gent in this whole forum. So on behalf of men, I'd like to ask Caren a question on approaching mentors, especially now in this current situation. If there's someone who has walked the path, as you say, that I would want to walk, but at this point in time I can't leave home. But I feel this is a really opportune time to tap into the knowledge she has, so to speak, to make hay at this point in time. So how can I actually do that from home?
Okay, thank you so much, Jeff. And now there's a quality I just observed in Jeff. When you want something so badly, it doesn't matter. Even if the time is up, you will demand to be heard. That's really cool. Jeff, keep it up. Now, how do we get to approach mentors and have conversations with them during this time when there's social distancing, people are not meeting up and many meeting places are closed? There are many platforms. In case you have their number, please reach out to them, call them, introduce yourself, say, my name is so-and-so, I got your number from so-and-so. So assuming they do not know you yet, introduce yourself, say, I got your number from so-and-so. Is this a good time to talk? I'd like to talk to you about mentorship in business or something like that. Is this a good time? Then go ahead and summarize. So make sure if this person only gives you 5 minutes or 2 minutes, you will have said something so substantive within the 2 minutes, and then I'm sure they would want to listen to you over and over. So reach out to them via phone call, either WhatsApp, Skype. If you already have established contact with them, you do not have to meet face to face. Do that through WhatsApp. I have mentorship sessions through WhatsApp, by the way. I set up Skype meetings and Zoom meetings. We do phone calls. Sometimes somebody's just like, you know what, Caren, I need to do this, but I don't know. I just want to run by you to make sure it is the right way. And then I go. I'll just take 2 or 3 minutes of your time. And I actually give them time. So if you do not know them yet, if you're writing via email or WhatsApp, then just write a short paragraph, introduce yourself, say who you are, how you got their contacts, what you need from them, what support you need. If you know each other, then please reach out and say, can we actually have a Zoom conversation, or can I call you and then we have this conversation? All these channels and platforms can be used for mentorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Caren. Thank you so much. So I want to hand back the session. Are we taking a photo, Judy?
I'm told with this platform we can't.
Oh, okay.
It's not like the one we normally use, so this is a bit different. So I'm told this one we are not able to.
Okay, so let me hand back to you then. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so thank you all to all participants. I want to say thank you very much for joining. Thank you so much, our guest, Caren, for the time that you have given today, this evening for this. I'm sure you have also found it very insightful also for yourself. This is what we need, especially to give to our young people, that our experiences that we have gained over time, that we can pass it over through mentorship to them, so that they can also have the courage also to face their future and to be able to take up the challenges that they have and do greater things for this country, because we need more leaders who can be able to have courage and take charge of issues of this nation and run with them, because you are the future generation. So, and your future starts today. It's not tomorrow, it's today. So we must start the building blocks from today. So thank you so much. And just to encourage us is to say that let us not despise humble beginnings. Sometimes we start small, we want to start up there. And I think Caren's story has been very, very encouraging, reminding us that we start small and we grow. So it's never that you're going to start up maybe in a big office, spacious office, a car, what, all those items we want to have at a go. But it is a journey. So once you appreciate that this will be a journey, whether it's a business that you're starting, it is going to be a journey. There are going to be storms along the way. We are going to have different seasons. We are going to have challenges, but still the opportunities will also present themselves. Again, is to just trust in God and ensure that you are able to carry yourself through and take advantage, speak up, look for people who have already done it before, and they can be able to provide you with that advice and what you need, so that then it gives you courage also to move forward. So thank you all for participating this evening. And I want to say good evening and have the rest of the week blessed, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Caren. Thank you.
Most welcome.